try with the left side. Ready? One, two, My name is Premsida Nauk. I'm 26 years old, and I'm the Associate Artistic Director of Khmer Arts.
Great, and tell me about the Khmer Arts.
Khmer Arts is a transnational organization that's dedicated to fostering the vitality of Cambodian classical dance. And so we're based in the Khmer, Cambodia, and here in Long Beach. So in Cambodia, we have a professional touring ensemble, and then here in Long Beach, we have a community training program.
Tell me about what Khmer dance is and its historical symbolism and meaning in Cambodian culture.
Khmer classical dance is an art form that's over 1,000 years old. It was developed as a dance of prayer, a dance of worship, and during the time of Angkor, dancers were actually charged with performing these sacred choreographies that were believed to bring about the fall of rain, bring about prosperity and fertility for the people in the land. Ever since then, Cambodian classical dance, or Khmer classical dance, has become a symbol of Cambodian identity. After the Khmer Rouge, they actually initiated a genocide that nearly destroyed the art form, with 80 to 90% of artists perishing. Cambodian artists, Cambodians, were displaced all over the world, and so dance, both in Cambodia and both in the diaspora, has been a tool for healing, a tool for forming community, a tool for asserting, your identity in these new lands.
Okay. Can you elaborate a little bit about the Khmer Rouge exactly, and how this art form narrowly escaped extinction?
In 1975, the Khmer Rouge took over Cambodia, and they sought to create an egalitarian, agrarian peasant society. And in order to do so, they thought that they needed to destroy all forms of elite culture. And Khmer classical dance, after the fall of Angkor, became an art form associated with the royal court. It was always associated with the royal court, but it moved from the temples, in a sense, to a dance of the palace. And so dancers, because they were associated with the palace, were targeted. And so during the Khmer Rouge regime, a third of Cambodia's population perished from death, starvation, execution, slave labor, malnutrition. And included in that number were 80 to 90% of Cambodian dance artists, musicians.
Okay. Tell us about your personal familial roots in that history.
My parents were from Battambang, It's a province in the uh, northwest of Cambodia, borders Thailand. And my parents actually come from agrarian roots. And so, to my knowledge, um, there was no ties to the royal court or to the art form in any way. It wasn't until I'm sorry. And so so my family, they were from Battambang. They lived and through the Khmer Rouge genocide, and eventually made it to a refugee camp in Thailand. And after that, they came to the States. And so, they had no affiliation with Khmer dance, with the royal court in any way whatsoever. And it was really like, at temple during New Year celebrations and stuff. Even in the 80s, people were already dancing. So immediately after the Khmer Rouge regime was ended, people started to dance and revive the art form, and that was certainly true in the diaspora as well. And so my father recorded a video of dancers, amateur dancers, performing at the temple, and I imitated that video ever since I was 4 years old.
So is that safe to say that was the first time you really noticed Khmer dance?
Yeah, and I remember I would pop in the video. I would put on my sister's red dress, and then I would start dancing. You know, just imitating amateurs. And like their crowns. They didn't have crowns like us. They had cardboard crowns that had sequins sewn into them, and then like instead of like flower garlands or something, they would wear tinsel instead. And so the resources weren't there for good quality dancing. But for some reason, the spirit of the dance was still alive and still visible, and I fell in love with that. And I was just imitating movements, and my parents and family would just record me and say, "Keep on dancing, keep on dancing."
Right. So when you first put on your sister's garments and started dancing, would you say that you felt that spirit through?
I'm not sure because it was such a long time ago. I was 4 years old. I was just for me that was something beautiful, and I wanted to be beautiful. And I was like doing these twirls that they weren't even doing in the video.